Morning everyone, happy Sunday and welcome to Kate's Cosy Corner, and a special welcome to my young friends who are listening online or in church. Now it's week 4 and this week Carrie and Jamie, well, they're off somewhere really special. Have you been listening to the Olympics? Well, they were too, and they were really amazed at what they saw with the skateboarding, and they are really busting to have a go. Now, they got skateboards for Christmas and they've since bought the helmets and I think it's elbow pads and knee pads. So they're all set and they're all ready to go skateboarding. And Mum has found an indoor skateboarding park where they can have skateboarding lessons or scooter lessons. And even better, there's a wonderful cafe so Mum can go and have a drink and watch them through the viewing room. So that's going to be really great for everybody. And even better, there's a surprise when they get to the station, but I'll tell you about that in a minute, because somebody wants to come and say good morning to you. And it's Millie, Molly, Mole. And look, she's got her backpack on again. So where do you think you're going this time? You want to go skateboarding as well? Oh, wow. Well, have you got a helmet? Well, I think perhaps if you go to the garage and you have a look for a helmet and perhaps a skateboard. Be interesting to see what you can find. So off you go. And then I'll tell you about what Carrie and Jamie found when they went to the station, because their mum had invited 4 of their friends and their mums. So they thought that was absolutely fantastic. They thought they were going to have a really great time together. So they all fell over each other to get into the train, and the ticket collector came along and checked their tickets, and then they all settled down. And Jamie said to his friends, he said, you know, my mum's amazing. She keeps finding stories from the Bible that match up with the day out that we're going to have. And Mum, what are you going to tell us today? And Mum said, well, I don't think there's skateboarding in the Bible, but I have got a story about 4 friends, like your 4 friends. So they all sat back ready to listen. And she said it was about Jesus, and he was healing and speaking to people about God. And, well, as usual, the crowds were just everywhere. But there were 4 friends, and they had another friend who was in bed. He was in bed all day long, so they couldn't go out with him the way you're going out with your friends today. He was paralysed. Since he'd had an accident as a young boy, he hadn't been able to walk. And so his friends, they used to go and they'd play games with him and they'd do what they could, but he couldn't go riding with them. He couldn't go walking with them. And they were a bit sad. And then one day, one of the lads, Zebedee, he came and said, I've heard that Jesus is in town and he's been healing people, and we're going to take our friend to Jesus. And the other said, really? Are you sure? Yeah, this is our one and only chance to get him healed. So they put him on a mattress. That was how they used to carry him around when they took him places. And they took some rope. What do we need the rope for? You'll find out, said Zebedee. When they got to the house, well, they could easily see the house where Jesus was, because the people were just surrounding it. The front door, the people were 10 deep. And as for the windows, well, they were all peering in at the windows trying to see him. And the other friend said, it's no good. We'll just have to take him home. We can't get in. And Zebedee said, oh, yes, we can. I've got a plan. We're going to go up the side steps to the roof. Now, in Palestinian times, the roof was very flat for drying grapes and things like that. And it was made of straw and mud. And he said, we're going to make a hole in the roof and we're going to let our friends through. You have got to be joking. Have you lost your senses? We can't do that. We'll be in so much trouble. Well, it's either that or taking our friend home. And I am determined that he's going to get healed today. So he persuaded the others and they started to make a hole in the roof. And then the hole got bigger and bigger. And the people inside the house, well, they couldn't work out at all. They kept getting bits of straw and bits of mud on their head. And then they looked up and they could hardly believe what they could see. There were 4 faces looking down at them. And the hole was now big enough to let their friend down to Jesus. Bung, 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 bung. Now, there wasn't even any room around Jesus, but the people that were sitting closest to Jesus had to move or have a mattress on their head. So they did somehow shuffle back and make room. And then when their friend on the bed looked up at Jesus, his face was a picture. It was full of compassion, but also amusement as well, because he looked up at these four friends and he thought they've got such amazing faith. And they were counting on Jesus healing their friend, because it was one thing to get the mattress down. They were sweating from doing that. But can you imagine trying to take it up again? No, they weren't even contemplating that. Jesus had to heal their friend. They really believed it. They were counting on Jesus to heal him and for their friend to get up and walk out. So Jesus looked at him, looked at the friend, and he said, "Your sins are forgiven." Well, there was a bit of a gasp. Fancy saying that. And then he said, "Get up and walk." And their friend suddenly found strange sensations going on in his leg. And he suddenly thought that, yes, he possibly could get up and walk. Wow. He was going to walk and he was going to get out of that place and be able to do the things that all his friends could do. So he looked around him and Jesus was encouraging him, and he suddenly found that he could get up and walk. And everybody was cheering and clapping and jumping for joy. The friends rushed down and they were hugging him and slapping on the back. And it was just an amazing, joyful day. Well, Jamie and Carrie thought, that is so amazing. And the mum said, yes, what it is to have four friends, to be blessed with four loyal friends who look after you. So I hope when we go to the skateboard park today, I hope you're all going to look after each other. Oh, yes, we will, they said. And then they were in at the station and they were off down the road to the skate park. And they had a fantastic time. They did fall off a few times. They did get a few bumps and bruises, but they did look after each other. Mum was very proud of Carrie and Jamie. And the mums, well, they had a nice time in the coffee shop, looking out and viewing what they were all getting up to. On the way back in the train, they were tired. They were sleepy after their day out. But Jamie was saying, oh, I can't get over those four friends. That was so amazing what they did. And Mum said, yes, they took their friend to Jesus because they knew he needed Jesus and he could heal them. And Jamie said, well, I hope I'll be a good friend like that. And Mum said, well, you can bring your friends to Jesus as well. How about inviting your friends to church on Sunday? There's a special family service on and I'm sure they'll enjoy it. Well, the mums nodded and they said, yes, we're up for it. And so the four friends said, yeah, you're on. We'll be there. So wasn't that exciting? Wasn't that amazing? And now I think we've got somebody coming back to see us. And oh, what's she got on her head? Oh, it's what is it? It's a hard hat. That was all you could find. Well, yes, the story was about the roof coming down, and you thought a hard hat would help you. Well, I don't think it's quite good enough for going skateboarding. But anyway, I'll come to the garage with you now and I'll help you find a proper helmet. And I think there's an old skate. I think that will manage. You'll manage on just one skate and have a bit of fun. So we'll see you again next week. And bye from Millie, Molly, Mole.